Hello and namaste. This is Preeti Adhikari, the founder of the Great Nepali Diaspora, and this is TGND Beats, Diaspora Ka Kurakani. This is where we showcase stories of global Nepali professionals and share their stories of struggle, perseverance, and success. Today we have a very special guest, Brichaya Shah, and you'll get to know so much about her. I'm so excited. She's on the podcast today. So, let's get started. Welcome, Bricha.
Thank you, Ajay. Thank you so much.
Bricha, we have so much to cover. And unlike our other guests, I want you to give your intro, not just what you're currently doing, but what you also are bistare, showcasing to the world. You've been doing that for a while, but showcasing that to the world. So, go ahead.
Okay, I think I'll begin with that imposter syndrome, right? Teaching and learning has always been inside of me. I currently serve as a director of digital learning innovations at Kennesaw State University. It's the third largest institution in the state of Georgia. And I've been surrounded by educators, students, teaching and learning for 20 plus years. But तर बच्चैदेखि त्यो अरूलाई सिकाउन पढाउन मन लाग्ने तर एकदम लिमिटेसनमा कि बाहिर निस्कन अलिकति त्यो हेजिटेसन हुने अनि आई नेभर थट आई वुड गो इन दिस फिल्ड होइन मलाई पहिला चाहिँ एकदम बिजनेस लेडी बन्न मन लाग्ने त्यो मुभीहरू I never understood that was like what is leadership, what is entrepreneurship, what is it like to become a leader भन्ने कुरा त्यो knowledge I didn't have. But I always had a passion for teaching. And alikati त्यो के भन्छ नि it's when you teach others, the reinforcement of learning हुने. And suddenly people would come to me, friends would come to me. I always had people surrounded, oh, your question के हो भनेर. And I always like explaining to them. And I figured out as I grew up, I was like, अरूलाई सिकाएर I'm actually growing better, right? And to leverage those skills like मैले, I think it took me so long to come out and spread in the community and then share to others. And so now I inspire everyone to go out and teach others. So that's pretty much my teaching and learning journey, even though I focus on technology-enhanced learning because that's what I do. I work on professional development. I love helping others develop. That is something I can go on 24 hours. I've done sessions 8 hours, 10 hours a day. And then I have the same level of energy and people ask, how do you have that energy? Why are you not drained out? Why you're not passing out? You've been teaching all day. But I think the moment of enjoyment, when you do something that you really enjoy, it doesn't feel like work, honestly. मेरो लागि teaching is more like a therapy for me. Even when I surround, especially young kids, young adults, right? When I sit with them, there are times I have them right here in the basement. I have a bunch of them and I work with them. And then कस्तो pure हुन्छ कि उनीहरूको intent. They are very smart. I get really intrigued by how smart kids are these days. But at the same time, I also understand they face many challenges, right? Everyone, doesn't matter whether you are an immigrant or whether you are anywhere in the world, you do face challenges at a certain stage and age in life. So I surround myself with people like that, and especially young adults. And that took me some time to come out, but I think over the years I have come out of my shell and started to contribute and started to give to the community and the society, and it's pretty uplifting. It helps me. I would think that I'm trying to help others, but in return, actually, it helps me to be a better person.
Awesome. No, I love that. And I love that त्यो पहिलादेखिको some skill you had or a trait you had, you're finally like owning it, right? Owning it and taking it to the next level. I think that's amazing. And especially हाम्रो community, like we don't have that, right? We have especially some traits that are, I don't know, a little different or unique, or you can't like really put a finger to. Like we don't really, it's just one of the things we do, right? It's just never becomes front and center. तर तिम्रो केसमा चाहिँ it has. So I completely love that. And we'll talk more about, all the things that you do. तर तिम्रो केसमा, let's take a step back and tell us about तिम्रो नेपालको young हुँदाखेरिको childhood and youth and so on, and how त्यहाँबाट you ended up in Georgia.
एकदम अर्ग्यानिक हजुर आई ग्रो अप इन अ नर्मल फ्यामिली अनि मेरो दुइटै दाईहरू ठुलो मभन्दा ठुलो एकछिन थियो सो बाई द टाइम इभन फिगर्ड आउट वाट्स गोइङ अन दे वर गन सो आई वाज लाइक अ सिङ्गल चाइल्ड जस्तै भनौँ न मेरो पेरेन्ट्स अलि लिबरल अलिकति मोडर्न त्यो बेलामा पनि विच इज 25-30 years ago अलिकति मोडर्न अनि आई ह्याड लट्स अफ फ्रेन्ड्स कजन्स फ्यामिली very simple, very, beautiful, I would say. The golden days of your life, funny. I think I had like that. अनि त्यो leadership skills same. त्यही पहिल्यैदेखि थियो कि स्कुलमा पनि अलिकति यसो पार्टिसिपेटहरू गर्ने स्कुल क्याप्टन बने बच्चैमा है अनि बट नेभर न्यू द्याट वाज लिडरसिप स्किल्स भनेर त्यो पछि गएर आई थिङ्क त्यो इट वाज इनसाइड अफ मी एन्ड देन वेन आई स्टडिड it made sense who I am inside and what is proven by research is actually this is the person in me. So it is really organically developed by bhanu. And I had lots of friends, very fortunate to have lots of friends. I'm still in touch with them. And then मेरो mom, dad, US, Nepal garirahne bhएर I kind of knew after high school I was coming here. But I wanted to be somewhere where independence चाहिएको थियो कि मलाई I wanted to be in it, but I did not know what that meant until I got into it. And this I came to Georgia and I've always lived in Georgia for the last 24 years.
Incredible. Britisha, you and I have talked about it, about this, that, and I don't know what's, right or, true or not. The fact that I have a feeling that I've met Britisha somewhere, maybe Georgia, like when both were in undergrad, I have a feeling I've met you in person once that we don't know. So, we have to someday, make sure to see if that's true or not. But I think it's also because first time, I've always felt this affinity. And I think our wavelength has been amazing. And for me, I think to see Nepali women, right, exploring all of this, right, in terms of their passions taken, they're really, and you do so much for the community. So I think that's where, a lot of our affinity lies. तर तिम्रो केसमा चाहिँ is there a reason that you stayed in the same place? Because there's like two groups of people, right? Especially that come to the US or Roma, that sort of, are everywhere. And there's some that actually have roots in one place. And you're, Timur Kesma, you've always been in Georgia, right? What sort of has clicked for you?
I think, when you come here, right, it's a hurdle in the beginning, right? You really, you're young. You don't know what you're trying to do. You think you know what you're doing. But the struggle that every single person, independent, who's trying to be independent, goes through that level of struggle. And then during that struggle, I think one thing I absolutely did was I made friends, okay? And I made lots of friends. So even within the state of Georgia, globally, it's with technology, it's so easy to connect and make friends. I mean, I don't think you and I would have been connected without technology. This is exactly the diaspora itself is a platform that provides, it's all technology driven. But back in the days, it was one or two friends. And I am still, we've been friends for 20 plus years. And they have been there with me in rise and fall. And they have been with me in good and, tough times. So as a international student, immigrant, I was navigating everything alone. And then there were few people who were there, handful. I could really have it in fingers. And I'm still there. We're connected with them. Two relationship grow, they go, and then this community itself became a family. So I think Georgia, I do have lots of friends. They're as close to me as family. I do have family. My brother is literally on the second street. He's in Alabama. But I do have, I think that's another reason that you feel comfortable. You feel that you are surrounded by right-minded people. You are surrounded by a community that loves you and that are there for you. And then you settle in. So I think for me, that comfort zone, Banuki, that friendship, Banuki, that relationship, Banuki, that everything was provided for me in Georgia. Kiniki suruma audaheri यहाँ सदन हस्पिटालिटी है बाटोमा निस्क्यो भने मान्छे हाँसिदिने अनि बोलिदिने ग्रोसरी स्टोरमा पनि
Right. Right.
सबैजना बोल्दा रहेछन् सबैजना हाँस्दा रहेछन् त्यो जस्तो भएको but eventually we got adapted and there's a huge community here and so I think Georgia it feels home for me that's half my life has been here so I think I stayed here for that reason because I have that much of friends and family right here.
Yes, of course. No, and I think that's super important, right? That community could feel where they become friends and family, and there's so much, going on. Isma, I do want to ask you a little bit more in terms of your work with these young adults, right? Tell us about that alikiti more specifics that are not just in terms of the help you do, that how timro afno learning of being a student here and navigating all of that and your involvement with the community, how that sort of factors in timro work.
So every day, as I said, every day I'm surround myself with educators, right? And even in professional development, sometimes my participant can range from 25 years to 65 years. Sometimes I work with deans and chairs and department chairs. They are 60s, mid 60s. And the teaching and learning journey but also you have to realize that when I started working in technology enhanced learning, it was still chalk and board. Okay? 20 वर्ष अगाडि त classroom still chalk and board बाट पढाइन्थ्यो. And then the transformation happened in last 2 decades from chalk and board into smart classroom into digital platform. Now we do everything globally. Our students are global. Our faculty are global. And then these I started, there were few people in the beginning, like just stay close, just like that I could help with college application, passion project design. Not every immigrant family ma कसैले help गर्न सक्ने हुँदैन कतिजना यहाँ कलेज गएको हुँदैन and they don't know what to do. So they asked for help. And slowly I started providing that support and help. That happened decades ago. Some of the kids that I worked with are in medical professionals. Some of them are, already getting married. त्यो हिसाबले गर्दै गर्दै and it came to a point that I couldn't do it alone, right? मैले साइडमा प्यासनको लागि आफ्नो फनको लागि हबीको लागि गर्दा came to a time I couldn't handle it alone. So I started connecting the dots as कसैलाई support चाहिएछ. It doesn't matter K through 12 whether they need tutoring, whether they need academic advising, or sometimes just support, right? Sometimes just the motivation, sometimes just the coaching. I started connecting the educators, the people to the right individual who needed need. तर त्यो बिचमा मैले अर्को कुरा के डिस्कभर गरेँ भनेदेखि which is right around pandemic is not everyone can afford one-on-one सबै everything online जान थाल्यो, one-on-one private हुन थाल्यो, personalized tutoring हुन थाल्यो. Not everyone can afford, right? That one-on-one private, one-on-one personalized, one-on-one interaction cost a lot of money and not everyone can afford. Okay? अनि त्यो कुराले चाहिँ मलाई एकदमै बदर गर्यो है that अब जसले तिर्न सक्छ गर्न सक्छ तर तिर्न सक्दैन they deserve it, right? And at a point I felt helpless and at the same time I was bothered. I wanted to find a solution. There must be a way that quality and affordability could go side by side भन्ने त्यो explorationमा जाँदै within my own company itself as a drift beyond, I drifted towards Nepal. Right? That's where the journey kicks in bigger. Right. I have tried in last 20 years several times. Maybe there is something that I could do between Nepal and US. I resonate with one of your podcasts. Sometimes when we live here, we can't decide should we move back, how do we move back. But there are sometimes you don't have to move back. You can do something by staying here. And त्यो कुराले चाहिँ जहिले पनि त्यो ट्राई गरिरहन्थे कि के होला के अप्सन होला कि भनेर but it became such a एकदमै click एकदम win-win जस्तो भयो where I'm looking for affordability and quality and then I got connected to so many teachers in Nepal who teach international curriculum and they are hungry for experience. They are really qualified and they are reaching that global market. And I just became a medium, okay? And so here it is a quality, it is an affordability for so many people here, parents here who are struggling. And then these people are able to bring in some experience for themselves. So ekachoti win-win, that's where the thing blossom and then that's where I am drifting on with the drift beyond.
Awesome. No, I love that. And I think one of the reasons, Mani, I wanted to kind of showcase, your expertise and what you do to our community is because more recently I've been through that journey of, made it through college application and so on. And what I've also realized is हाम्रो community, man, we don't really even have an awareness on it. Okay? That, your college prep takes a lot of time. It's not just that तिम्रो बच्चा is smart or not, hardworking or not. It is a lot of preparation. And there's few things that, everybody sort of does, right? Kumon, Dani, Vanyo, yeah, कसैले चाहिँ Russian maths, and a few sort of things that are, like you said, affordability पनि धेरै कुरा छ. And there's so many things, especially as both parents work nowadays. There's a lot of layers to it that हाम्रो community, we don't really even explore ki, what are the options available, what kind of things are needed. Even college applications, like everybody treats it as just something you do, okay? Not something that actually needs a lot of planning and prep, and it has to start early and all of that. So I'm hoping that your conversation with you actually alikati sheds light on all of that in terms of, as हाम्रो generation becomes parents and, plans all of that, we can, help the community as well, right?
And then when I work with kids, right, I have a second grader all the way through, high school, entering colleges, right? And no matter whatever the age group and whatever they are learning, whatever their journey is, every individual journey is different. My intent is to help them be self-confident. It's not about pressuring them. It's not about competing. It's not about competition. Everybody has to go through their own share. And every individuals are unique and talented in their own ways. How can I help to craft that? How can I help to lift that? And sometimes gentle motivation, something very simple can motivate and change their life. And even when I work with my team, I tell them, yes, we want to make an impact on everyone. Yes, we are here to make a difference. Yes, we all have the same vision to ensure individual student success. Even if you can make an impact on one student, that is more than enough, right? But and I tell them that honesty and integrity is number one, right? And when you work one-on-one with it's a pure relationship. यो एकजना टिचर एकजना स्टुडेन्टले कहिलेकाहीँ स्टुडेन्टले त्यो इन्डिभिजुअल अटेन्सन पनि पाएको हुँदैन. They had school and they come home, they have siblings and they have other priorities and parents have priorities. They don't get that, but when they sit with the teacher and they get that suddenly one-on-one attention, it's a completely different ball game. The motivation is right? That interaction, that engagement helps them to really shape them and motivate them. And I do monitor, I do go and see and how they do it. Right. And my ambition and my goal and my underlining goal behind the scene is, yes, we want them to be successful in their whatever they're doing, whether they're in second grade or they're in 12th grade. But the most important thing is the self-confidence that they carry with themselves, right? Being confident in whatever it takes, however it takes, will make you help to be confident. And kaile kai say त्यो अलिकति difference छ immigrant parent मा त्यो understanding के I had a instance, somebody asked me हामीले घरमा के गर्न सक्छौं मेरो छोरीलाई support गर्नलाई, and she's a teenager, and I said that age is so critical, right? अहिलेको किनकि the way we were brought up and the way the generation has changed, it's different. Right. So I think 13-year-old लाई त जति सक्यो पुलपुलाएर हैन, जति सक्यो प्याम्पर गरेर, जति सक्यो माया गरेर, जति सक्यो सपोर्ट गरेर हुर्काउनु पर्छ, because this is the most critical stage. It's tricky, sort of very tricky, right? Very tricky. So yeah, it has a lot of things. So when people see that side of me and people understand that side, it's not just teaching and learning, it's the fostering, right? It's the fostering, it's the mentoring, it's coaching. That yes, there is a subject matter that we have to teach, we have to take standardized tests, we have to go with whatever the education system is, but at the same time, shaping a human, a person for tomorrow, it takes a lot of mentoring, shaping, coaching, and a lot of fostering and work behind the scene.
Of course. And I think that's super, super needed. And one thing we immigrants are, we carry a lot of baggage. Okay? And I think intentionally, unintentionally, we also put it on our children, right? In terms of, oh, hamro belama ta yesto thiena. Like, हामी young हुँदाखेरि, we would never, say something against our parents or, ask why. And, but I think one thing I feel like with all of this, it's not just this, adapt गर्नुपर्ने for the kids, but also for parents, I think, for all of us, right? To be like, okay, yeah, what we went through is not like, it's not going to happen, right? It's a very different time. It's a very, so the coaching, I think parents लाई पनि अलि चाहिन्छ होला.
चाहिन्छ. So I try to be politically correct, I know, but only parents लाई पनि चाहिन्छ because, and then there are times people come and ask because of course I study the field, I do the research in the field, and there are ways to do this. And so there are times people come and ask for that, and I definitely help. And there are times they say, तिमी आफै भन्देऊ न, मैले भन्यो भने झन् गरे भन्छ, why don't you say? You say it, they listen, then me. So I think that's exactly what happened. And, going back to why Georgia and why here and how did you got involved in the community, because it's the parents. And I feel very blessed, right, that people trusted that and people have that kind of respect for me and said, can you talk to my kid and भन्देऊ न, गर्देऊ न, तिमीले भन्यो भने गर्छन् भनेर. And that's exactly how I have unfolded and I have become a part of the community here.
Awesome. So अहिले आएर this business you have, like, tell us how many kids or how many teachers, how many kids are there or how many teachers you employ, and also Timro, what's your goal? Like maybe next year or 2 years, how big do you want it to be? What does success in this means? Like what would that mean?
Individually, I have done hundreds of kids, and pre-pandemic was a different story. And then we took a pause around the pandemic because a lot of things shifted. And then I restarted it again. And then that also I ventured from Nepal because by SAT bhayo, college applications bhayo, academic advising bhayo, which is on this side. But what has also been out there is there has been a lot of gap post-pandemic because of the pandemic. Proficiency level, especially in school ko bachharma, both math and ELM proficiency level ma alikati kam dekhदाखेरि चाहिँ I was like, let me give it a try. And then I realized the affordability, as I said, right? So this summer, I ventured and I tried something different and said, okay, how can I make it affordable? So let me try Venture Nepal. How can I make it affordable? But I want to make sure the quality is the same, right? The quality is same. And त्यो गरेपछि we have now over 25 students. I have about 30 faculty and I have about 50 people ready. I do have some people here in the US. I have about 35 teachers handy in the US. And I have about 50 people ready in Nepal. And they are all one-on-one. They all are working professionals. And I don't know. मलाई numbers सोध्दाखेरि यो कुरा मलाई अरूले पनि सोधेको थियो, how big you want to grow, होइन? Do you want to go 100 students, 500 students? I think I am more about quality than quantity, honestly. I do have students who are in 3rd grade, they're performing at 5th grade. I do have students, they're in 5th grade, they're performing at 7th grade. I do have students who are in 7th grade, they already can do SAT questions and we expose them to that. But I work extra hard and I have learning coaches and I have people, they work extra hard for students who actually need real support. There are students who are still has challenges. There are students who still have gaps. They are the one I need to pull along. That's my priority. So as many students as possible that I can reach, whom I can lift, whom I can pull along. I think that was probably my goal and ambition. Then the number and then how big I want to grow. I think I want to reach the right individuals. So that's why it's private and one-on-one type of a thing, because everyone has their own share of struggle. So we want to make sure I want to be that medium to remove that struggle. Everyone do it, because I also had somebody offered like Kuan just to follow and thought about Russian math, thought about eye level. And I said, that is not individual, right? It doesn't give me that my vision that I am trying to foster. I'm trying to provide that engagement. I'm providing that personalized one-on-one natural pathway for learning, a natural way for an individual to succeed. It cannot be in one fit box, and it cannot be within that setting. So I think I don't have an ambition for a big number. My ambition, my goal is to reach those individuals who really need me, who really need my team's support, so that I can really lift them and up them and give them an equal opportunity.
No, I love that. And I think your tailored approach is so important as well, right? Like you said, त्यो one size fits all जस्तो गरेर franchise जस्तो गरेर treat गर्न पनि गाह्रो छ. I think there's so much to it. That I love the experiment you've done with teachers in Nepal and everything, which is incredible. Isparta, I do want to kind of talk a little bit about this new initiative that Timi and I are working on. I think, we'll announce very soon. Tara, why don't we talk about that? And also, more than the initiative, the need the two of us see for it.
Definitely. I think जब मैले TGNT join गरेँ, right, and I attended the chapter meetings here. For some time, मलाई पनि where am I जस्तो भएको थियो, होइन? I was being, and I told you honestly, किनकि अब सबै startup, IT, data science, and the AI and all that talk was going on. And I mean, yes, my job is driven by technology. It's a technology enhanced learning. The 50% of my work is done by technology. I do have passion for it, but at the same time, मलाई त कसैले पनि बुझ्दैन होला यहाँ म जस्तो मान्छेले के गर्ने होला, because yes, I am an entrepreneur. I have a business mindset, but it's driven by a passion for teaching and learning, whereas these people are talking completely different thing. अनि म जस्तोले चाहिँ how do I leverage, what do I do, how do I cater to the audience here, or what can I gain? I mean, mutual benefit के होला त, how do I contribute भन्ने questionमा लाग्दाखेरि I think we both that I think there is a need for entrepreneurs who are non-techie, because I'm sure there are lots of people out there who has ideas for innovation, who has ideas for service, but they needed that lift, they needed that support, they needed that mentor and coaching, the shaping and guiding, and then just to come out of that their shell. Okay, so as I said, I've done this for so long, right? This is naturally inside of me. Everyone, I also say to people, there is a teacher inside of all of us. So you just need to find it, because all our journey is different and we just need to share that. तर तै पनि मलाई त्यसलाई बिजनेसमा ट्रान्सलेट गर्नको लागि it took me some time. It took to go out and ask people to like and share and follow.
Exactly. No, I remember Timle, it was a big deal when you actually put it on Facebook, what you do after doing it for years and years, right? I mean, just tells you so much.
Tara, what I also have give credit to you is when I attended the TGND ko yo group ma, it became so natural, okay? Because it was all like-minded. And I have to quote you again. We have so many Momo parties, but we don't have professional and mentoring coaching. Ani mo ekलै गएर मेरो business idea यस्तो छ, मेरो job यस्तो छ, एउटा कामको कुरा गर्न आए जस्तो हुने, हैन? And so majority of the time people approached me and said, oh, तपाईं गर्नुहुन्छ, मेरो बच्चालाई help गरिदिनु न, or can you do this, can you find me someone, can you do this? But it's connected through that. Then I went and said something. So it took me a while for myself to come out and say, I do this. त्यो गर्न कति मान्छेहरू, I truly believe there are so many people out there,
exactly,
men and women, but they are not coming out of that shell. So that's why we ideate, and then we created this 7-step journey into entrepreneurship, right? किनकि हरेकको journey different हुन सक्छ. The ideas you have for business could be different, whether it is a product, whether it is a service. तर त्यसमा चाहिँ नि support गर्न, lift गर्न, अनि अर्को idea चाहिँ I think कसरी भयो भनेदेखि, as I started exploring offshore team, अनि I realized नेपालमा कति धेरै talent छ अहिले, हैन? They are hungry for that,
right?
They are ready to enter the global market. And then if we can connect these young entrepreneurs or rising entrepreneurs into that market where it is affordable, right? where this, I mean, this is how the entire globe is, right? That's how the offshore team are built in the first place. Anyways, so Nepal is so ready to be offshore team for a global market. Then why not? If you're starting that journey, so maybe we can bring in offshore team if you need payroll, if you need account, finance, or if you need
Marketing, anything.
yeah, digital campaign and market. Because if you are starting a business here, you can run a marketing campaign for $3,000, $4,000, whereas you may find it somewhat much affordable, and they are going to do the same of a job or probably better if you really give them a chance. Let's say, I think this is where that idea came in, because people hesitate, खै मलाई त marketing गर्न आउँदैन, legal थाहा छैन, payroll थाहा छैन, कसरी clients standard थाहा छैन. So it becomes such an overwhelming experience. So in order,
even before you start, right?
Before you start, you back out. Yeah, you back out of it. You back out of it.
Right.
So we want people to take that first step with us, and then how we can help them along, and how we can help them launch a business and create a real business plan. But I say, this is, I'm actually thrilled, but I think it's both sides. It helps the people here, but it also helps for a global market.
It's such a no, exactly. It's such a tangible way of doing that, and I think like you said, right? I think हाम्रो intention is like अहिले चाहिँ, like you said, there's so many people with domain expertise, whether it's, I don't know, anything from consulting, देखि tech related पनि, or so many things, services. कसैलाई maybe खानै बनाउन राम्रो आउँछ होला, something like that, right? अनि तर one is our cultural hesitation of making something a business, right? I mean, something I like or something I'm doing on the side versus, okay, I might someday try to do this full time. Is a it's a stretch for our community, right? We're not comfortable with it. We're not comfortable talking about ourselves in that sense, in terms of त्यो pitch गरे जस्तो. You don't want to be that pitchy and salesy, and you also fear that, okay, even if I start, how do I figure out everything else?
Yes.
Right. So हाम्रो hope चाहिँ, and we're working on the program and so on, and we'll announce it really, really soon. But our hope is just that, right? Somebody that's actually has an idea, or even just beginning, they should feel like there's a community of people that are sort of trying to do something similar. There are resources even within our community or in Nepal that they can tap into, and then we'll hopefully have a lot of success stories of Nepalis, right?
I think surrounding yourself with the right mindset, okay, is very important, because even for me, when I came into this joint TGND, it was completely a different platform. And you do here, nobody's going to judge me. Nobody's going to say anything like, why is she pitching here, right?
Right.
Yes, I never had that hesitancy, right? This is exactly what I do for a living. I never hesitate. Nepali, I had that hesitance to biases, to overcome गर्नलाई. And I talked to so many women. I was talking to a very good friend today, and she was saying the same thing. I need to go Facebook Live. Oh, I'm so proud of you. You did it. I need to do this. I need to come out of my shell. So I think there are so many of us, men and women, who has it but they needed a platform where there's not going to be no judgment, but we all are here for the same reason. We all are here to support each other. We all are here to lift each other, and this collaboration is here to support भन्ने त्यो एउटा ममा confidence आएपछि I started that expansion too, right? किनकि मैले जब यो start गर्दाखेरि पहिला नेपालमा हेरेको थिएन. I was just limited within the United States, and that's why the affordable was really challenged. And I was like, maybe I shouldn't do this जस्तो भएको थियो. But suddenly I was like, maybe I should reach out. भनेर मैले reach out गरेपछि, once I reached out, then that's exactly happened. So I do urge people to reach out and ask, because without asking, you don't know what's out there. So I think this is I think if they come and ask, I think there'll be lots of people who will be able to support, help, and mentor and shape and guide.
Of course. No, I so agree. And I think, one thing that's always come up is how does the diaspora connect to people in Nepal, right? People that are entrepreneurs and business owners and so on. And the mentorship, investment, those topics that I think the best thing we can do is make those connections, okay, so that it's a win-win for both. And there's business for both sides, right? And it's like the best thing you can do. There's not really a compromise on quality, that even in terms of making it affordable and so on, it actually works.
Yeah, it may not be any financial gain, right? But you friends, I have so many people, right? I have so many people I know. So sometimes it's just the networking, because it's so important. I think we are in that generation to have that relations and connections and networks just to increase your network. I urge people to join, and I urge people to be part of it, to build that connections. And because sometimes you never know what you may come across that you may want to share, right? Or you may need to learn from somebody else. So I think it's a great platform for that even knowledge sharing, because that was my intent when I came in.
I love that. I love that you did. And I think, one thing that I would love to add on this is, I love that we're like new, okay, right? I love that TGND is just 9 months old. We're still figuring things out, which means that our ideas aren't like fully baked, okay? Which means that the feedback we get, we can constantly change, evolve together. And Theo is so refreshing, okay? Right? Even for me, like hearing an idea and saying, okay, let's do it, Vanera. It just happens so quickly, right? We can move so fast. So that is amazing. So even for people that are listening, I hope, you don't have to agree with everything we do or, anything like that. That if you have an idea in terms of कसरी हाम्रो communityलाई help गर्न मिल्छ, कसरी engage गर्न मिल्छ, कसरी उ गर्न मिल्छ, like let us know, right? We're listening. I'm listening all the time. So I, just like Brichaya, be like Brichaya भन्छ नि, just be like that. I think that's, I think त्यो ownership, I think, is important for our diaspora, okay? Right? Where you're not just a spectator or listener, that you make yourself an active sort of participant, right?
Yeah. And I keep, I'm repeating myself as everybody is a teacher inside of, there is a teacher inside, right? And everyone's journey is different, because even 30 minutes a week, then go out. I encourage people to help, because you never know, you may change somebody's life, right? You never know, because your journey, wherever you have been in your journey, I'm sure everyone has learned something, right? It's not just the degree, it's not just the experience, the life experience is much more. So I always tell people to go out and give back, talk to someone, because you never know, you may change with that 30 minutes conversation, you may change that person's perspective of life and where the person is headed. So this, I think TGND provides an immense platform for that, okay? That you can put 30 minutes of your time each week, but you may change somebody's future growing forward. There's so many talents here that needs help, support, mentor, but your guidance, and sometimes it may not be, if you're talking about data, data scientist pool or medical hub, but they may need something, right? I also add,
whether it's somebody you can talk to, somebody that you just want to talk to in Nepali, right? Maybe I can put that.
Yeah. And where there's no judgment, right? Where there's no judgment, and you don't have to hesitate, you don't have to feel anything, and you can go out there and talk. So I really encourage that. And I think for me, it has been a platform that where I can learn. I think equally more मैले learn गरेछु than share होला. I think I've learned more from the platform itself in 9 months than I've shared. I think I joined last winter तिरै होला. I think November, December time I joined. But I think I've learned more from the platform than that I've shared.
No, thank you, Brichaya. And I think one thing, especially for our generation or people older than us, man, like you said, right? Kati times we think that if you have a lot of experience, if you're like that, your guidance matters so much, your mentorship matters so much. That kati times I have these calls with students, and मैले उनीहरूलाई खासली गराछ हैन, तर I get like a fresh perspective on so many things. I feel like, oh my God, like I didn't know this, or like I have a better day because of that. Okay, so कहिलेकाहीँ चाहिँ I think we also overestimate like your seniority भन्ने के hierarchyमा, तर कहिलेकाहीँ चाहिँ I think people should also take these calls and not just आफूले giving मात्र हैन कि you also get that satisfaction or you never know what you would get out of it, like you said.
I think the first one I attended was like first 15 minutes to my family face-to-face meet गरेको थियो. First minutes I was called त्यहाँ अलिकति help गर्नलाई, mentor गर्नलाई हैन अनि अलिकति यसो के सिकाइदेऊ भन्नलाई. And I was completely blown away. I was amazed by the talents, the young talents. They're half my age. And I'm sitting there for 15 minutes. हातमा स्प्राइट ल्याएको थिएँ अनि तिनीहरूको मुख हेरिरहेको छ अब म यिनीहरूलाई के सिकाउँ यति ट्यालेन्टेड मान्छेहरू छन् के भनौँ they were so young 21 22 23 year old and they were so talented म त आफै बसेर सुनिरहेँ एकछिनसँग and then त्यसपछि then they started asking questions and then there I realized there were certain places I could help and I could connect and then we went on from there. But yeah, sometimes you never know when you go into these type of venue that you would think you're going there to help them, then in return you actually yourself get help. And so I TGND मेरो लागि त्यस्तै भयो. I was asked to join because of my experience भनेर and then when I entered in I thought I learned so much now in the 9 months. I follow the beats and I get inspired by other people. And I see there's so many people like me. And I was like, okay, I'm not alone. There's so many people who share the same struggle, who have same challenges, and who have the same way that they want to give back, they want to contribute, and they want to move or they want to give back to the community in Nepal. How are they helping? What are the impact? Because even at a very small level, even a minute level, I feel like I'm impacting. I am making life of those people in Nepal because they want to stay there. They have a life there, but I am bringing something at their doorstep. Literally, it's the technology that's helping. The infrastructure in Nepal has helped and improved. So I am bringing employment to their doorstep. So even at a small scale, I'm able to do that. So I think TGNT has shaped it. I think to push any TGNT radio.
No, I love that. It's all youth that I'm glad the platform exists. I think I think even for innovation like this, right? This was like it's just your business. You trying to figure out the whole pricing and Nepal my help money and all of it. And I think all these puzzle pieces are just around us, right? It's about now making those connections, right? And I think I love that it's happening, right? Not just for your business. Now we see ways to do it. We know who to contact. It's becoming easier also, right?
Yes, I think the market is there. I think people need to people who have moved out of Nepal in last 25-30 years अहिले पनि अलिअलि नेपालीले गर्न सक्छ र भन्ने एउटा अलिकति डाउट चाहिँ मान्छेहरुमा या त्यो बायसेस अलिकति अझ पनि छ. Yes, there are some nuances you have to navigate. But I urge everyone, if you are launching something, explore that. Explore the possibilities, I mean, you may find something better here or you may find something offshore, and why not in Nepal, right?
Exactly.
Explore गर्न important छ किनकि मैले in order for me to be self-confident, जब टिचर्सहरु मैले हायर गर्न थाले, more and more teachers I met, I was blown away too. They were really talented. Right. Well, I mean, they were really way far advanced. अब हामीले पहिला पढेको नेपालको it's so vastly different, eh? Right. Started working with them when I asked for samples, and when I worked with the team here, then we realized कि कति मान्छे talented छन् भनेर. How talented people are and how ready they are for the global market.
So I like that, to explore definitely गर्नुपर्छ. तर just, because a lot of companies reach out to TGNT and me in terms of, making those connections here. But there's I do feel like some level of awareness मात्र हैन कि एक किसिमको education भन्ने कि के चाहिँ चाहिन्छ कि, right? In terms of for companies, one चाहिँ अब यो diaspora-मा मान्छेहरु चाहिँ that are exploring these options for them to, give Nepal or Nepalese-हरु a chance भनौँ न. तर on the other side, Nepali businesses and entrepreneurs, as they try to connect to the diaspora for business, आई थिङ्क अलिकति एउटा alignment भन्ने कि एउटा चाहिँ अलिकति needed छ कि like have you experienced something like that?
Yes, I think so. Because I think कहिलेकाहीँ चाहिँ के हुन्छ भने American business, American company भन्न साथै price point अलिकति different हुन्छ कि and it becomes
Right.
really hard, especially for someone who is a startup, so someone who is starting really fresh, right? They already have so many expenses and they have their own share of struggle going on. But at the same time, you are looking outside for some affordability. So त्यो understanding Nepalको companiesहरूले पनि गर्नुपर्छ that because if they get a chance, right, if they are given a chance, you are entering a global market now, right? US companyलाई support गर्न सक्नु भनेको you are now venturing into a global market. So त्यो लेभलको अलिकति एजुकेसन चाहिँ you are right, both side. यता पनि awareness कि they are talented, they are ready भनेर उहाँहरूले पनि अलिकति बुझ्नु पर्यो कि you have to be affordable, you have to be accessible, that
Right.
by experimenting, by getting a chance, किनकि कुनै बिजनेसलाई एस्टाब्लिस गर्नको लागि it doesn't work, it doesn't happen overnight. It takes 2-3 years of developing and kicking and going into the phase, right? Establishment को लागि. So त्यो establishment को लागि नेपालको कम्पनीले पनि सपोर्ट गर्नु पर्यो, नेपालमा भएको भेन्डर उहाँहरूले पनि सपोर्ट गर्नु पर्यो कि how can
it has to be a long-term partnership. It cannot be त्यो एकचोटि milk गरेर dollars-मा, it cannot be that. Okay, right?
Exactly. And so I think the both side of that education and awareness is there, that the possibility is there, the opportunity is there, but how do you leverage that? How do you utilize the right way that there is a win-win from both the parties? भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ त्यो लेभलको एजुकेसन त्यो लेभलको awareness भयो भने चाहिँ I think it's going to be a great opportunities for both and growth for both in both sides of the world.
Of course. No, I agree. And especially I think through our initiative, we'll be able to hopefully showcase some of these businesses, right? Yamako and ones in Nepal. And I think it might be a good start to a lot of, scale ma hunako lagi. So we're excited to, showcase all of that. But Brichaya, one sort of before we, end, I love your story, everything you've done, and so on. And, you're so right in terms of Nepali saying just owning what we do and all of that. But this one, do you also see there's, another layer as a woman in terms of as a Nepali woman? Do you feel like there's another layer to it? And what is your advice to others that are sort of in that space?
I think त्यो आफ्नो identity आफैले create गर्नुपर्छ. Your identity changes, your identity shifts, right? I think certain point in time, I think I was driven by ambition. I was driven by certain things and it shifted and changed as I grew, as I mature. I'm a mom of 2 young girls. So I think from the perspective, from the women's perspective, I think you have to shape your own identity. You want to be known for someone who you are. And this is who I am. You have to be comfortable in your own skin. Whatever you do, does not matter what level of skills you have, what level of degree you have or not. You have to be comfortable in your own skin and you have to create your own self-identity, right? And then you have to, I think by projecting yourself, you are raising people here. I am raising 2 Americans right here in state of Georgia, right? So मेरो identity shapes my home. And then I have also responsibility at work, right? I'm a leader at work. And as a leader, when you reach a certain place in your career and your professional life, it's not about me. It's about others around me. It's about how do I lift them? How do I support them? And then in a world of artificial intelligence, human intelligence and emotional intelligence is really, really important. And I do a lot of research and work on emotional intelligence. Basically, it's like perceiving others. You have to put yourself in somebody else's shoes, right? So when कहिलेकाहीँ त्यो womenमा पनि judgment call भइन्छ नि हैन, men, women सबैमा human judgment call भइन्छ. You have to perceive that. You have to put yourself in somebody else's shoes before you make that judgment. And then creating your own self-identity and lifting others. Again, it is an ultimate satisfaction when you inspire someone else, when you lift someone else, when you help someone to reach their destination. It is, I think it's something that's priceless and that shapes you as an individual, as a woman. So I create my own self-identity. I create that. I don't say I go above and beyond all the time. I do self-care about myself, but at the same time that I am always on the lookout. If there's somebody that I can help, I can shape, then that's me, that I'm there for them. And I think that's something I always encourage everyone to be.
No, I love that. I love everything you do, Brichaya. And I think, for our audience, I think Timro story is going to resonate so much. And I think, especially as we begin our new initiative, people will have a chance to really connect more and more with you and, and learn from you. So thank you so much. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you. And I think kudos to you. Kudos to you that this was a platform that I entered that I never knew that I would be doing this one. I entered just for like, what is there? How can I contribute? I just went in from a contribution stand because that's what I was asked. And then I suddenly realized that I have so much to learn from, and I'm actually gaining more from the platform. So yeah, kudos to you for putting it together, bringing it together, and then busting the mamas parties and creating mentoring and coaching professionals.
I know. I love this. I love, no, it's not just that we got started. I love what's going to come next, right? I think Theo is so excited, and I'm glad that you're on this journey. Brichaya, I am so glad that we're doing this together. Perfect. Thank you. And to our listeners, please like, subscribe, and share our YouTube channel with everybody. Thank you.